On today's show, a name game of sorts. We hit the water in search of the story behind all those quirky boat names. Researchers paddle a river to save an endangered species, a creature with no fins, wings, or legs.
There's some mussels!
And we fish for fine art alongside a Minnesotan who makes one-of-a-kind replicas.
Minnesota Bound, presented by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems.
Hi everybody, Bill and I welcome you to Minnesota Bound.
I have an idea. Let's play a game.
I'm in.
Awesome. Actually, it's a game about nicknames.
Ah yes, to know how people name their boats is to understand how wit and a sense of humor go hand in hand on the water.
Minnesota, a land of many summer loves. We especially covet life on lakes.
It's a special part of your life. You live on the lake or if you're near the lake, and it's like a second home, you know?
Even when the boating season heads to a place of hibernation, we still find ways to celebrate. Owning a boat, a perpetual affection so strong, we play the name game. Pick any local lake and you better understand. All aboard on Lake Minnetonka, everywhere you turn, another Bubba, another Encore, another painted quip. Yep, how sweet it is. Curious names, even world champs. The joy of owning rather expensive toys. Floating palaces of sorts. Like a sequel, the unwritten rule. Get a new boat, find a new name. Although they look like they're still working on it.
I have a red little fishing boat. I was gonna name it the Baconator, because it kinda is like brown and red, kinda looks like a strip of bacon.
Some boat names hot, and some not. Hey Rita, you might need new letters. Every brainstormed name, another story.
Been on this lake my whole life, and everybody always called me Lil, and we were thinking of a family name for the boat. My kids and I wrote it out, and I said exhilarating instead of exhilarating, so that's how we came up with our name.
Over there, that guy looks lost. This one too. Geez, I wonder what they advertise on that boat. What are the odds we'd find this boat today? The moral of the story: it's about time to name your vessel. In doing so, you show Minnesota what maritime love looks like. The fun keeps us feeling young. And to that, I say Bravo Zulu, Minnesota, which in Navy terms means well done, well done. Coming up, a lazy day on the river in search of a conservation story. Preserving Minnesota's wild mussels next.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems, Coors Light, Ice Castle Fish House and RV, and by White Bear Lake Superstore.
Paddling down a river, one may not think of the unique ecosystem and creatures that lurk below. One conservation group is now offering kayak tours to the public in hopes of saving an important river critter. This may look like a summer kayak tour, but this one is different. Would you believe a kayak tour all about freshwater mussels?
Welcome everybody, we're so excited to have you here for the Mussels of the St. Croix paddle. We'll be paddling right over some native mussel beds, and because our water level is really low today, it's going to give us really great opportunities to see the mussels up close and personal from the comfort of our kayaks. Have a seat in your boat. Nice, great paddling. I think he's a natural.
This kayak adventure? Well, it's hosted by nonprofit Wild River Conservancy, founded more than a century ago.
We have a mission to inspire stewardship to forever ensure the rare ecological integrity of the St. Croix and Namakagon Riverway. The Conservancy was formerly called the St. Croix River Association, and it was run by citizen volunteers starting in 1911. So it's actually the oldest citizen-run group in Minnesota, which is really cool.
What's so special about mussels? For starters, it's their names and physical characteristics.
Wow, all kinds of shows.
There's some mussels!
A freshwater mussel is a bivalve mollusk, and it's an invertebrate, meaning it lacks a true spine. It has a hard outer shell, it has soft inner body parts. A lot of the mussels are named after identifying characteristics or appearance. So this is called a pistol grip. This is called a three ridge. You can tell by the three prominent bumps or ridges here. This is called a hickory nut. This is called a pimpleback.
Often called the liver of our rivers, the role mussels play in our environment is impressive.
So here they're actually essential, and they're a key component of the food web and the aquatic ecosystem. They siphon out toxins and dissolved organic matter from the water column, and they use it as food while also benefiting us humans by contributing to the pristine water quality of the riverway. And a really cool fact is that it's the same 41 mussel species that existed prior to European settlement, and they still exist here today.
Take note, these mussels should not be confused with the invasive zebra mussel that are destructive.
So zebra mussels, they are harmful to the native mussels actually because they can directly colonize them and they can suffocate them. They have no natural predators here. That's how their numbers are able to increase. They also outcompete for space and food, so they can take over essential habitat areas of the native mussels.
Today, some populations of mussels are in trouble.
Their numbers have declined, and there's actually 5 of the species that are federally endangered.
As a result, the Wild River Conservancy is also active in mussel conservation programs.
We have a lot of different research and monitoring efforts. The winged maple leaf is another federally endangered species that we, with our partners, are doing some propagation efforts on. We actually have them housed in a bioassay trailer or a living trailer.
The goal is to raise mussels in captivity and then release them back into the river.
It is one of the first so far successful efforts to rear this particular species, the winged maple leaf. Some species are relatively easy to rear, and others require some parameters or certain conditions that we really don't know about. So with this project, we're trying a lot of different approaches to see what will be most successful.
It's a little baby mussel.
Their conservation efforts seem to be working.
They still exist in this river today because of the conservation efforts.
Paddling for conservation, using a little mussel to save a mussel.
The Wild Rivers Conservancy really aims to bring people to the riverway. As you can see, it is absolutely amazing. It's a national treasure.
Yeah, we're getting into the maple.
Still ahead, Belinda's back to help you explore Minnesota's North Shore. But first, a rare form of protecting fishing memories.
Not everyone is a keeper.
Closed captioning provided by Star Bank.
Fish
taxidermy. Certainly not a new idea, but Travis Frank met one Minnesotan reinventing the way we remember our fishing memories.
Oh my gosh, he's huge. Look at this. Isn't he amazing?
Becky Albright believes that every fish has a tail.
Look at this dorsal fin.
And she likes to save them.
I kind of memorialize the fish, I think, saving not only its shape and size, but all these wonderful details.
In her backyard studio, a unique fish transformation process begins.
So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to get him defined in his shape.
Becky's a Gyotaku fish artist.
Gyotaku is 2 words. G-Y-O is fish. T-A-K-U is rubbing or impression.
Gyotaku prints date back to the mid-1800s.
It's a very old Japanese printmaking technique that the fishermen would use to capture the size of their fish catch for the emperor.
But Japanese anglers that created them weren't trying to make art.
No, not at all. They just wanted to capture the fish to prove what they did.
That's because a few local fishermen were caught stretching the truth. Go figure.
And then people started noticing it and saying, that's pretty cool, let's add an eye and it can become art.
Becky's eye saw the art and, well, she was hooked.
I probably take more time to de-slime it to make sure that the print does not smell like fish. Little fan sometimes helps. Do we want them to look natural? Do we want them to be black like the traditional Gyotaku? Should we do one of each? This is the big decision time, see?
Becky's color palette changes with every fish.
It's up to me to try to put the paint on it and rub it in a way to pull out those details. But nature has done the magic.
Nature's magic inspires Becky's creativity.
It's a good outlet for stress release, and time just flies. Now I have to work undercover, so to speak, because I can't really see what I'm doing. So you go by feel. Once you put your paper on, you cannot move it. Hold your breath. Oh, he's pretty pink. Not good.
We'll call it catch and release.
Not everyone is a keeper, but the second one usually turns out better. Are you ready for the reveal? Ta-da! There he is.
Second time's the charm.
Too much ink up in the head.
And the third time, too.
There they are, the twins. To me, the magic of Gyotaku is to reveal what that fish's beauty is through its whole definition. And then I go in and I do the outer rim, the color.
After making the finishing touches, Becky applies her official stamp of approval.
It is my name in kanji calligraphy.
Another Japanese Gyotaku tradition. Her signature prints can be found a few miles away at the Otter Tail County Museum. Here, Becky's fish art hangs proudly on display.
Oh, they all pretty much have a story. Every fish has a tail. Came about because of people like Eunice, 94 years old, who caught this wonderful crappie, 14-inch. This is their forever piece of memory work.
Every fish has a tail. Becky's Gyotaku fish art preserves them forever.
Straight ahead, we go back in time with Belinda Jensen as she explores a special North Shore destination.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Midwest Exteriors MN, Game Fair, and by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
Okay, I was way back in the Minnesota Bound Classic Vault and found a doozy from the 1990s.
It's a day when Belinda Jensen headed to Lake Superior to discover all the fun to be had along the lake.
Well, the natural beauty of Lake Superior combined with some wonderful cozy North Shore cottages makes for a great getaway. And the centerpiece for it all is one of America's finest hiking experiences, the Superior Hiking Trail. The Superior Hiking Trail has been recognized as one of the top 10 hikes in America by Backpacker magazine, and it's easy to see why. The 200-mile trail from Duluth to Canada winds along some of the most dramatic scenery you can imagine. You travel through a northern boreal forest of maple, aspen, birch, and towering pines. There are cascading rivers, spectacular waterfalls, accented by wildflowers along the way. Bring some good hiking shoes. The trail can be rocky as it winds around the Sawtooth Mountain Range, which was created by the glaciers. So, KARE, it's changing a little bit here, a little bit less dense.
Yeah, we're getting into the maple forest here. Maple forest is a forest that grows right along the ridge along the lake.
Carrie Anderson from the U.S. Forest Service showed us some tiny details that you might miss, from elderberries to baneberries to thimbleberries. Oh, they're very tart. Whoa, good though.
Yeah.
Bears would like this.
Do you?
I do like it. Maybe with a little sugar on top. But while hiking along the trail is a sure way to gain solitude, it's clear we were not alone.
Belinda, check this out.
What is it?
Oh, see how the vegetation's all crushed down here?
Uh-huh.
And look behind it.
Oh, berries.
Yeah, so there's a large animal that eats berries up here.
Called a bear.
It's a bear. So bears have been along the trail munching.
Hanging out in the little cove there.
Yeah.
Hey,
one of the things I think about hiking the Superior Hiking Trail, you don't often see the big wildlife, but you very often see their sign. Like this is a perfect example.
The trail may be wild and rugged, but it's never too far from civilization. There are 18 unique lodges along the trail, ranging from bed and breakfasts to resorts. You can hike all day and step off the trail into comfort each night. The trail is incredibly diverse and winds its way past some superior fishing spots. Guide Sean Parrish knows many of them. We trekked to the Temperance River and fly fished for brook and brown trout.
There you go, good cast.
The cool, clear water was invigorating and the river's wide enough so you won't get your line caught in the trees.
You can go from anything from nice rocky trout streams that are not really that different than a mountain stream. Maybe you can go down and cast on the river mouth into Lake Superior and catch lake trout or salmon. You can try some of the inland lakes, catch anything from walleyes and northerns to smallmouth bass and muskies. I mean, it's all here, and there's really no other place where you can find that much fishing variety in such a small area. And best of all, you know, it's very common here not to see anyone at all when you're out fishing. There's not a lot of places left in North America where you can do that.
He's right about that. There are very few places like the Superior Trail. It's one of the great hiking jewels in North America. And hiking lodge to lodge caps a perfect day in the Backlands. From the Superior Hiking Trail, I'm Belinda Jensen.
Hiking and fly fishing combo sounds perfect to me.
So fun. Well, that about does it. We hope to see you back here next week.
In the meantime, don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
And the Superior Hiking.
Yeah, that's true.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433. To get more Minnesota Bound, including full episodes, go to mnbound.com. And to follow our latest adventures, like us on Facebook.